Hello again and welcome. We are back talking with Dr. Guido Minaya, CEO of Minaya Learning Global Solutions, about instructor delivery. And today we have a guest, Himli Ali, an expert in the field based in Singapore. In this episode, we will focus on trends Himli is seeing in Asia. Stay tuned to learn more. Welcome back to the show, Dr. Minaya, and welcome to the show, Himli. I'm sure we will have a lively conversation on trends. Turning it over to you, Dr. Minaya.
Thank you, Dario. It is a pleasure to be back on the show, and this time with a great friend and colleague, Himli Ali. But before we start, let me give you a brief background on Himli. Himli is an international facilitator and coach in leadership, management, team excellence, sales and personal growth, and transformation. He has over 25 years of professional experience in the Asia Pacific region in senior leadership roles in MNCs, SMEs, and he is a co-founder of a successful technology startup in Singapore. Himli has won numerous international and regional awards for his achievements and contributions in Asia Pacific. In 2015, Himli decided to pursue his passion on leadership transformation by establishing his own learning services business in Singapore. And since then, Himli has been involved in the delivery of both the classroom instructor-led training and virtual instructor-led training to global audiences since 2016, and notably with Microsoft on leadership and management related training and coaching, sales related training and coaching to MNCs based in Asia Pacific, and executive coaching of high performance and excellence to leaders, managers, and individuals. Himli is also a certified coach, speaker, trainer on leadership with John C. Maxwell. He is a certified situational leadership global facilitator with Ken Blanchard and a certified stakeholder centered leadership coaching with Marshall Goldsmith. And Himli is also featured in the recently released Marshall Goldsmith movie, The Earned Life. As you may know, Marshall is the #1 leadership executive coach and the only 2-time winner of the Thinkers 50, #1 influential leadership thinker in the world. Himli, you have had such an exciting career to date. One area that I think our listeners and I am most interested in learning about is your experience working in the Marshall Goldsmith film. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, Guido. Thank you so much for having me here. I was invited to San Diego in 2018 to be featured on Marshall's latest movie, The Earned Life. It was an unforgettable experience, to say the least, to be working alongside up and personal with Marshall, his team, and fellow coaches. As you know, Marshall is the world's leading executive coach and is a New York Times best-selling author of many books. Some of it is, I'm sure some of you will have known or read this book. What Got You Here Won't Get You There, Mojo, and the third book is Triggers. You know what? I got to go to his house as well when I was there, into his wardrobe to see his signature trademark. You know, wherever he go, he has this green polo shirt with a khaki pants. Well, I can see my my eyes here, many green polo shirts and khaki pants hanging neatly in his wardrobe.
Yeah.
One thing I learned about Marshall is that he's very authentic. His leadership style and coaching is simple and sometimes common sense. You know, Guido, common sense is not common practice nowadays, right? So we need to go back to basics in order to get to the real essence of managing people. But most importantly, before that, managing self.
That was a wonderful story, Himli, as well as good guidance. And another recent global experience you had, right, is teaching for Microsoft. Would you tell us a little bit about that as well?
Yes. So after I came back from US from the certification of John C. Maxwell, I was approached in 2016 to be an adjunct facilitator for Microsoft. I got certified in their leadership management and employee related training. Thereafter, I delivered classroom training and also virtual training globally. At that time, virtual training was very new to many. Microsoft training got me to deliver training in Asia, particularly in ASEAN, China, Japan, Korea, and India, and also in Europe, uh, in France, Germany, Turkey, Poland, Portugal, and UK, if I can still remember some. Doing virtual training, my audience is a global audience spanning from US to New Zealand. So today, I'm still doing coaching to Microsoft leaders and managers globally as we speak.
Thanks, Himli. When you think about how the world has changed due to the pandemic, what did you and your instructor colleagues experience in Asia?
I remember my last face-to-face training was in January 2020 in Japan. They announced the pandemic, I think sometime in February, in Singapore at least, February, March. So in Asia, the audience preferred face-to-face training. This is prior to pandemic, yeah, due to the teaching culture and learning effectiveness. We shun virtual training for various reasons because we prefer that personalized touch, and we always want that discussion, the human interaction discussion in Asia. But this changed with the COVID-19 pandemic. All travels were shut down and face-to-face training canceled. And you know what? Many of my training colleagues suffered with class cancellation and loss of income. Some even changed to other profession, to make a living. But something that was not even possible or a preferred choice before the pandemic became a very popular one, and that is virtual training. With the collaboration tools available, for example, like Zoom, like what we're having now, to Microsoft Teams and others, everyone was forced to embrace virtual training. There were many initial adjustments from both sides, from the facilitator as well as from the audience, to make the experience as close as possible to the classroom experience. The virtual breakout room features in Zoom, for example, made the interaction and engagement amongst the participants high. So prior to pandemic, it was very difficult to get HR and leaders to embrace virtual training. But today, and also post-pandemic, it is a norm now. In fact, whenever I propose any training today, they will first thing ask, we prefer virtual training because people get used to it. And also the corporation will save lots of travel expenses if the participants are coming from all over the place for this one particular training.
Thanks, Emily. Yeah, that's what we've seen in other parts of the world as well, where instructor-led face-to-face was more desirable prior to the pandemic. And
Yes.
if you fast forward to today, what are you seeing in the marketplace when it comes to instructor delivery?
Guido, you and I, we have gone through a long way in the training industry since mid-90s, yeah? So today, training delivery has grown from traditional in-class instructor-led courses to dynamic, agile learning methods that encompasses webinars, virtual reality, and the latest trend now is AI, artificial intelligence. These changes mean that instructors are now students on a journey to prepare for the future as well. So not only they are teaching, but they are also learning as they go along. Some of the trends that we see today in the instructor delivery of training include podcasts, video micro learning, or similar methods. Some today even prefer bite-sized learnings and blended learning. When I say blended learning, it's a combination of instructor-led and then a virtual training and even a DIY training or e-learning that the participants do on their own. Instructors can still use their unique human appeal to teach learners in that sense. Get ready for gamification. It is gaining traction, and with the use of AI and augmented reality, as well as now we heard about this metaverse and avatar world evolving, the training landscape will get very, very exciting indeed. How we learn today will be completely different how we learn in the future. Thus, instructors need to be prepared with these changes and be involved in adding value using these technologies and new learning platform.
Oh, that's great advice. Great advice, Himli. What helped you become such a stellar instructor?
In fact, that was a question I ponder and I check on myself before every training. It's all from my inner self. It's my sense of purpose driven by my passion, actually, Guido. When I'm in front of the classroom or virtual room or even a one-to-one coaching, I transform into a different person, just like Transformers or even Incredible Hulk. My why in life is to help every individuals that I come across teaching or coaching discover their fullest potential so that they can create a positive impact to themselves and the others around them. My passion is my burning desire, my enabling inner energy within to give my very best to create a high performance culture in learning and coaching. I'm very happy to see my participants and coaches be successful in their roles or even get promotion along the way. In fact, that happens to some of my coaches in my coaching session with Microsoft.
Well, thanks, Emily. And you've had so many experiences throughout the Asia region, and of course, in Europe and even in the Americas. If we think about Asia as a region, why is knowledge of the cultures in the distinct countries in Asia important for a Asia regional instructor? What advice would you have for those team members?
Yes, Asia has many cultures and many diversities. Yeah, there's lots of countries involved here. So, as a regional instructor in Asia, you need to understand the nuances and intricacies of the respective learning culture and practices. Sometimes it's a hidden rule. Participants from Australia and New Zealand is very different from ASEAN learners, which is very different from Japan or China or even India. The two things that I would recommend a regional instructor to do before they start training is first, understand this culture and what is expectation of the participant from these countries. And secondly, understand and know who are in the class. Get a participant name list and get the country where they are from so that you execute the appropriate learning practices and behaviors to give an impactful learning experience. I give you an example. In some culture, it is considered impolite to ask questions or challenge authoritative figures. In other cultures, group harmony is valued over individual achievement. In some cultures, for example, Australia and New Zealand, they like participative learning, yeah, and they like to be involved in the discussion. So it is important to be aware of these cultural differences, and one should adapt to the teaching style accordingly. So, for example, you may need to use different teaching methods or adjust your communication style to better suit the cultural norms of your students. For me, I usually break the ice with the participants and explain to them my teaching style and let them know my expectation of them. I get them to an agreement before I start my class. In that way, we are both on the same page. And if I step on any of the culture norms that they are not comfortable, they have been informed earlier on my style of teaching. I make sure that it is a safe learning environment for everyone, be it physical location or in a virtual learning environment. And if English is not their first language, for example, in China, I will speak slowly and I'll use the whiteboard, to draw diagrams and have more visuals than conversation with them. Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Emily. You touched on technology a little earlier in one of your responses, and with AI related innovations, what impact do you see on instructor delivery?
The latest tool is Chat GPT, right? The whole world is going crazy about it. And some even have courses how to uh, write or give the prompts of Chat GPT to write to get the answer. Well, you cannot run away from artificial intelligence, AI. AI is changing the way we learn and teach today. AI can help instructors even to deliver more personalized learning experience by analyzing student data and providing feedback in real time. How wonderful that can be, to help the instructor to monitor the progress of the participants. AI can also help instructors create more engaging content by automating the creation of quizzes, tests, and other learning materials. You know what, Guido? In addition, AI can also help instructors identify areas where students are struggling and provide targeted support. Overall, AI has the potential to revolutionize instructor delivery by making it more efficient, effective, and more importantly, personalized. However, it is important to remember that AI is not a replacement for human instructors. Rather, it's a tool that can help instructors deliver better learning experience, better learning journey for the participants.
That's great, Himli. Thank you so much for your insights. And my goodness, you gave us a lot to think about. Dario, back to you.
Well, thank you, Himli and Dr. Minaya, for the conversation on trends in Asia for instructor delivery. For our next episode, we will be speaking to a top firm who had a large scale instructor delivery project with over 230 instructors. Until next time.